going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Playbook Sports Podcast. Second straight week with a full studio. Makes you happy. Love to be here. You know who it is. I don't even need to introduce these guys. You know who they are. Last week, let's talk about NFL Week 15 in the books. We've got 3 more weeks. Got to enjoy it while you can. Watch every minute of it. There's only a few more games left until you know the score to every game. There's only so many games where it's like, I don't know how this game ends. So enjoy it while you can. Picks last week, couple strong weeks. Obviously, as a group, I think we did pretty well. Me and Sage both went 10-6, solid week. Bobby 9-7, Addison 8-8, and Colin 7-9. It is close at the top, folks. Colin in the lead by 1 game.
Wow.
122 and 102. Bobby right behind him at 121 and 103. Addison 119 and 105. And I'm right there 117 and 107. Sage 112 and 112. We're at 500 though. We're all above or at 500. Yeah, for spreads all year. That is solid to all be above. Mortal locks last week. Me, Sage, and Bobby all won mortal lock. That's 3 straight mortal locks for your boy. Now it's just sad. Now it's not fun anymore. It was fun when I was 1-11. Now I'm 4-11. Right, exactly. It's like, what's the point of that? What are we doing? Like, congratulations, I guess. But Bobby and Sage tied for mortal lock lead, which could come down to importance if you and Bobby end up tying for the title here. Locks last week, Colin, we're a little slow at the moment, but we'll figure it out. 1-2, 27-18 on the year, still very profitable, very profitable. Shout out to the Vikings for salvaging, and Vikings and Broncos for salvaging the winning week, but shout out Steelers for screwing up 2 locks themselves. Yeah. Couldn't cover anything and then gave up 27 to the Eagles. Any comment on the locks and how we're switching it up this week or making any adjustments?
Disappointing 3-week stretch here. 3-6 in our last 3 weeks, so we got to turn this ship around. The teaser's been letting us down week in and week out, but we're going to stick with it moving forward just because that payout at plus 180 is
so
nice.
Good.
And it was the one that saved us 2 weeks ago.
True.
But we just got to be better.
Yeah.
All around. Picks, locks, mortal locks. I got to be better.
He's going to figure it out. This is crunch time. This is December football. This is when we figure it out. Addison, outrageous take was Cooper Rush and Bryce Young to combine for 6 touchdowns. I will say Cooper Rush did his part, 3 touchdowns himself. Unfortunately, Bryce Young, 4 turnovers, 1 passing touchdown. Man, if only one of us.
Pick sixes, those count.
Yeah, I actually don't know if they were. I don't think so. No pick sixes.
Yeah, Cowboys defense is playing better as of late. That Bengals lost the punt muff thing. That's going to be huge in hindsight, because the Cowboys have been playing better lately. But yeah. Bryce Young definitely did not play the part of that.
No, he did not help. He was a sleeper, though, and he ended up with 12 PPR points. If you had to play Bryce Young, that's not terrible. Stone Smart, 5 for 50. We'll take 10.
Took a quarter of all Justin Herbert's right there.
Seriously. MVS, 2 for 64. Not bad either. You'll take it. And then we'll just ignore the 2 Raiders that you put on the list, in Trey Tucker and Sincere McCormick. They didn't do anything. We'll just ignore them.
Got hurt.
Yeah. He was,
Trey Tucker was a little silly.
Yeah, a little silly. I was taking a shot,
Silly.
It's just we're just goofing around.
If you need Trey Tucker, you shouldn't be playing right now.
Yeah, you'll be in trouble. Yeah, agreed. All right, let's get to Guess That Player. Fun based just on stats. This one I think is relevant for where we're at in the NFL season and just talking about it. So as you can see up here, we've got 4 players, player A through D, and we've got paper bags on 2 of them because I was going to put it on my head, but they don't fit because I'm a sad Dolphins fan. So they were just in the room and ready. Player A's stats. 4,323 yards, 37 touchdowns, 7 turnovers. Pretty good. Pretty damn good. Player B, 3,879 yards, 36 touchdowns, and 5 turnovers. Also pretty damn good, honestly. Those are pretty good stats. Player C, 4,500 yards, 29 touchdowns, 9 turnovers. Pretty solid. And player D, 4,830 total yards, 44 touchdowns, 21 turnovers. Now this one is tricky. I made it like a tricky one on purpose. Anybody have any guesses for any of these players?
Are these passing and rushing combined?
Yes. Yep. Okay. Passing and rushing yards all combined.
Oh.
It gets tricky. And it's a trick question at the core because I want to just have this conversation, and we will have this conversation. So,
I'm going to go player B. I might be a little low on yards, but Lamar?
Okay.
I like that.
Player A, I think, is Burrow.
Okay. All right.
37 tugs, though, for Burrow? He doesn't get any rushing, is the thing.
Yeah.
I almost think that might be Allen.
I think A.
Who's got 44 tuds?
Who's got fucking 21 turnovers?
Yeah, I know, that's not
Yeah,
Allen.
Is that
better.
Kirk Cousins? He doesn't have 44 tuds.
Yeah, he doesn't have that.
Now, what if I'll give you guys a hint.
Because those are...
Two of these players are 17 games because they were last season.
Okay.
Two of these players are 17 game numbers from last season.
Last season.
Yes.
Okay. That makes it...
Okay.
Does that make it a little easier?
I think. Okay.
Now think about also think of relevance for this year too, because maybe it's the same players.
Yeah, is that Lamar and Allen?
So D has to be Allen. He was turning
Yeah,
over like
turning
a
over
monster
crazy, yeah.
last year.
That's a great point.
And he had touchdowns, and I'm thinking people that were in the MVP race last year.
Okay.
Does Lamar have 9 though this year? Actually, that was last season. Yeah, I'm gonna go Lamar A, B is Allen, and then it's C is Lamar, D is Allen as well.
Okay. Colin, any guesses?
I agree. I think Allen has to be one of them. Same with Lamar. I don't really have guesses per se
Sure.
because I'm not. Or is it the same? Like Addison said, is it the same 2 up top as
I
it is
don't
down
know.
low?
I don't know.
All right.
I don't know.
But just looking at the board here, just kind of giving some analysis on it, I think player A out of the 4 are the stats I'd take the most. Yes, player B has the fewest turnovers,
Sure.
but just those 450 more yards and another touch for
big.
2 turnovers.
Right.
I think based off these 4 stat lines here,
You
I
like
would
player
probably
A
take
this
player
season
A.
the most. Okay.
Right.
Sage, any guesses on players or any comment before we move into who these people are?
I know Lamar. I think Lamar's up here.
Okay.
I just can't decide whether or not it's player A or B. I know he has 3 picks right now, but he has quite a bit of fumbles. I'm not sure how many fumbles he's lost, which is worrying me. Are we right there?
Just here we go. Player D.
Yeah,
Josh
yeah.
Allen,
Called it. Fucking nailed it.
2023 season.
Yep. I think Lamar. I think Lamar is player A right now with all those rushing yards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plenty of rushing yards. He does
Yeah,
plenty of rushing yards.
because he has about 500, 600
Okay.
something.
So player A, Lamar Jackson's
Yeah.
2024 season.
Okay.
Addison nailed it. You nailed it. Player B, Josh Allen this year.
Beautiful.
And player C, Lamar last year.
Okay.
So why are we talking about this? Because after the Bills game this past week, Josh Allen jumped to minus 900 odds to win the MVP. Josh Allen did. Why? Someone tell me why. And also, someone look at the stats down here and tell me, outside, I understand the turnovers are ugly.
Yeah.
How did Lamar win MVP in a runaway fashion last year? Like, it wasn't even close. Like, it was it wasn't unanimous, but it
It
was
was 1 pick away from being
borderline unanimous MVP.
Yeah.
And you compare these numbers, and it's like, okay, I mean, I could see the argument for both of them, but why unanimous? And why is right now in 2024, Lamar has 500 more yards, 1 more touchdown, 2 more turnovers, and Josh Allen's minus 900.
Yeah.
Why? What is this conversation here? I mean, is it quarterback wins? Is that what it is? Because then where's Mahomes?
Don't get me wrong. I think the quarterback wins help a little bit, but I think Sage will be able to touch on it more considering the Ravens homer. But I think the big difference is it's almost Josh Allen is in Lamar's situation last year. Who did Lamar really have to help him last season? This year he's got Derrick Henry with 1,500 rushing yards. And I get if you lost Lamar, it would obviously hurt the Ravens, but they at least have Derrick Henry in somewhat of a run game. If the Bills lost Josh Allen, does this team even have 4 wins? This man has been Superman these last couple of weeks, but pretty much all season because all 3 of us thought the Bills were going to take a step back. Colin thought they were going to win division. Very impressive. But I thought, just the talent's roster's just been depleted a little bit. And instead, Josh Allen says, hey, you paid me all this money. I'm going to elevate everybody on this offense. Shakur's going to be almost a 1 until we get Cooper. Keon Coleman's going to eventually start hitting. We're going to have a run game. I'm going to be a part of it. Their defense has played great. It doesn't really help his MVP case, but I just look at it like the talent is not completely around him where it's like, wow, it's amazing. I get they added Cooper lately, but he's just elevated everyone around him. And I think it was the fact that Lamar's got an elite guy like Derrick Henry right next to him that hurts his case a little bit. Because if Lamar was doing this, no Henry, I think they would both be minus 100 plus 120 one guy, minus 100 the other. But Derrick Henry, I think, is the real key here because Lamar did not have that last year. So you're saying, wow, he's really doing this all by himself. No help in the run game because where is it? It was almost non-existent at times unless it was him. Yeah, it's on IR. And so Lamar carried last year, and then this year you're just looking at Josh Allen carrying. That's the way I at least think of it.
I guess it's just interesting to me because Lamar's numbers last year when it was all him are worse. Like fewer touchdowns, more turnovers, almost going to be less yards. But this year with Derrick Henry, it's like, hey, now he's balling.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like his stats are so much better this year than they were last year. And Allen's obviously the touchdown numbers are like he's been playing crazy. He is that Bills team. He's the entire Bills team in my opinion. It's just interesting. Like I saw he was like I'm up for the debate. Like you can argue those two.
Yeah.
The Bills have been a very good team this year. The Ravens are 9-5. It's a 2-game difference, so it's not like one team sucks and the other team's good. But man, I find it hard to believe that player B's minus 900 to win MVP right now.
I almost also think that it's similar to the NBA award. I don't know if the NFL wants to give it to the same guy over and over and over.
Yeah.
So it's like if someone has an even comparable season, they're going to lean another way. It's the LeBron thing. He got it over and over. And it's like, now let's give it to anybody else. D-Rose sneaks one. And it's like, well, it's because LeBron would have won 7 in a row. Does the NBA really want that? I don't know if that's how it's looked at as the voters, but it's like, I wouldn't be shocked. You hear narratives like that, and it's like, man, I can see that, but Allen's playing well. I think.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, God. And I picked him to win MVP also at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. I think it comes down to 3 main factors right now. Number one, you already touched on it, is that fatigue, that voter fatigue, you know? I mean, he's already gotten it 2 times, right? And both of those times he got it, the first time in 2019, Willie Snead was his leading receiver.
True. Nobody there.
The second time he got it, Zay Flowers, as a rookie, was his leading receiver. Nobody was there, you know? So then you look at this year, Josh Allen, obviously throwing to nobody. They make the trade for Amari Cooper. They put up 40-some points. He got 0 targets the other day against the Lions. Like it's still all Allen, which nothing's really changed. So that's the first thing. First 2 things really. Allen is doing it alone. You know, and then you look at recency bias. Recency bias. Allen has 14 touchdowns in the last 3 games, 0 turnovers. Whereas Lamar's lost to the Eagles, he had a recent loss to the Steelers. He was on a bye week. You know, you're forgetting that Lamar did beat Josh Allen 35-10 earlier on in the season. If that happened next week,
it would flip.
This shit's flipping, right? Just like it did last year when Lamar was playing against the San Francisco 49ers when it was Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey in that argument, and he cooked them. He absolutely destroyed those players. Brock Purdy threw 5 picks, Christian McCaffrey did jack shit, and all of a sudden Lamar, right after that, snatched the MVP trophy away from both those players and said, this is mine, you know? It does come down to head-to-head, but when you beat the Bills in Week 5 rather than Week 17,
it's forgotten.
You forget that, you know? So when you put all those into account, I'm not surprised Josh Allen is leading the MVP race. I will let you know one thing. The one person not worried about this is Lamar Jackson.
I hope I shouldn't have.
He said, I've already won my trophies. I won those single player trophies. I don't want it. He wants the Lombardi. Josh Allen can have it all he wants, you know?
But you can have the individual shit.
No, that's what I want to see out of Lamar. Anyways, you can ask him. He had a 5-touchdown game last week. First thing he said was, damn, I'm fucking pissed that I missed that fumble in the first drive. That's all he's worried about.
You know, that is crazy. Lamar 5-touchdown game, and Allen goes to a minus 900.
And Allen, it was minus 400 before the Bills game. And then after the Bills game, it doubled his chances to win it. And I'm like, why? Why?
You beat good teams.
Yeah, that does help.
You know, because remember, Lamar last year, he absolutely smoked the Lions, smoked the 49ers, smoked all these great up-and-coming teams. And when you beat good teams, that also helps your case. I mean, you forget that Josh Allen, right after losing 35-10 to the Ravens, the next week put up 143 yards, a touchdown, no picks against the Texans.
Yeah, it didn't do anything.
You know?
I will say, you guys made a good... Someone mentioned Joe Burrow earlier, and he really does deserve a lot more consideration than he's getting, man. 4,000 yards, 36 passing touchdowns to 8 picks. I mean, he doesn't rush the ball at all. He's got a rushing touchdown
and
158 rushing yards, right? So, I mean, he's still like 4,200 yards roughly with 37 touchdowns and 8 turnovers, which is damn good. But then again, he's his team's not very good, 6-8, and he's also got the best receiver in the NFL, in my opinion, Jamar Chase, which I guess hurts him. I just think it's an interesting conversation to have around the MVP. It's always been like, this guy's got, you see it all over the social media. It's like, this guy's got the best stats. This guy's team is doing better. This guy's doing it by himself. How do you pick the one? You have to kind of like marriage them. You know what I mean? Because if we're being honest, if there's one team who has shown they can't win without their player, it's the Dolphins. Like, Tua's clearly the Dolphins' MVP. Without him, we're worst team in the NFL by a long shot. And same thing you could say probably with Josh Allen, but we just don't see that because he's actually Superman, and I hate him.
Every time Lamar's gone, we lose. You
know?
Yeah,
Like,
right, exactly. I think
like
that's just a common thing in the NFL, man. You lose your QB and you're screwed.
Finding 32 starters.
Right, it's hard to find 20 good quarterbacks.
You're also talking about the elite of the elite.
Right, yeah, the elite.
You're not finding another one of those
No,
guys.
no.
most likely.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
Very
you
true.
can't keep Tyler Huntley forever.
Yeah.
No, that's right. He moves his way on over to Miami. Alrighty, but that's guess the player just based on stats. I was like, I want to have this conversation. Let's talk MVP and why we think that that's all happening. I agree. I do think a lot of it has to do with that. I just thought it was crazy that his odds jumped so much from that.
Yeah, that is insane.
But that's just me. Let's talk power rankings while we're talking about these teams who may end up in all of our power rankings. We'll see. I'll start us out as I usually do. Honorable mention this week, I kept them in by the skin on their teeth. Pittsburgh Steelers stays at 6. I don't love it because they did not look good against Philly. They didn't look good, but they stuck around. And Philly's just good. Like, they're higher up my power rankings, as you would assume. I think Philadelphia's just really good. Pittsburgh hasn't won in Philadelphia since 1965. They just don't win there. Like, I don't know what it is. They just don't win there. Number 5, I moved them up a spot, Minnesota Vikings, after an impressive victory last night over the Bears. They didn't even look that good offensively. Their defense was swarming. Their defense looked really good. Vikings just continue to win games, and I'm going to give them respect for that. Number 4, dropping from number 1, Detroit Lions. I got questions about that defense, man. Again, like the Rams giving up that many points to Josh Allen. Okay, that's the Rams. They're an average team, middle of the pack. The Lions are supposed to be that team. Also, Dan Campbell, man, onside kick with 12 minutes. You have 12 minutes on the clock, and you're doing an onside kick that Matt Collins returns to the 2. You cost your team at least 7 points that drive.
Yeah.
Because first of all, you're showing your defense, I have no faith in you. I don't think you can stop him. Can they? Probably not. But you don't need to tell them that. And then they score immediately. It's like, okay, well, now we're down 17 points again. This game's over. We're not going to win now. You cooked them. You got it. Sometimes you got to be smart, and that was not smart. Again, that leads into my theory that is he lucky and dumb? I think so. Number 3, climbing my power rankings, Kansas City Chiefs. Not pretty, and Patrick Mahomes is hurt. Concerning. Hopefully, I know it's just a high ankle sprain, so hopefully he's not out too long. My guess is he misses this week, and NFL's like, you're playing on Christmas. If we have to give you a new ankle, we will. You're playing on Christmas. Number 2, Buffalo Bills. Offense is scoring at will. Just every single drive, Josh Allen just moves down the field, scrambles out of the pocket, throws the touchdown. That's just what he does. They're just going to score. That defense is a little concerning, though. That defense has given up 40-plus points in back-to-back games. It's got to stop somebody, too. Josh Allen can't put up 45 every game. He can't. Maybe he can, but it's unlikely to do that.
He's 30 in 8 straight.
Yes, he has. Yeah, that's crazy. The defense has got to be careful.
Patriots, Jets, and Patriots.
Oh, yeah, they're winning out. I mean, easily winning out. They're going to light them up. But when it comes to playoff time and you got a team that can actually play a little bit of defense, need the Bills to show me something on defense. But my number 1 team in the NFL right now is Philadelphia Eagles. Just win, baby, win. That's all they're doing. Jalen Hurts. I should have bet on A.J. Brown 2 touchdowns. That was the freest bet of the entire weekend because he bitched about not getting the ball. And every time a receiver does that, they're going to catch touchdowns. That's just the way it goes. So that's why I got Eagles, Bills, Chiefs, Lions, Vikings, Steelers. Addison, I'm swinging it to you.
Right on. I'll start at number 1 and go down. And my number 1 team is the Buffalo Bills, and it's because of Josh Allen. The offense is just absolutely going crazy. We pretty much set it 30 points in 8 straight. That's absurd. He's doing it all by himself. We talked about that when we were talking about the stats, and I'm just extremely high on that. And it'll be interesting to see how they play in the playoffs. If he shows up, watch out, Super Bowl trip inbound potentially. Number 2 is the Philly Eagles. Very impressive win over the Steelers. Their defense stymied their offense completely. And Saquon got hurt, and they still were able to just keep churning along. It's definitely good to see Jalen Hurts get that connection with A.J. Brown in-game. I did like the celebration dance. Clearly, it was more overblown than people. I get. There's emotions in the NFL. These are grown men that want to be the best at what they do. Stuff's going to get hot, and hey, at the end of the day, if you can come together at the end of that, that's all that really matters. Philly's number 2. Their defense is playing great. Offense is going to be good. Number 3. Give me the Minnesota Vikings, and this is a team I really thought was going to fall apart, and I think that's the other team in the NFC North that's doing that. We'll talk about them in a minute, but Minnesota, man, their offense is a well-oiled machine. Run game with Aaron Jones is healthy. They've got weapons at every single spot on the field when they throw. Hawkinson is a great tight end. Addison and Jefferson is just a joke. So I'm going to have Minnesota Vikings at number 3. Number 4 has got the Detroit Lions here. Tough loss against a team that scores 48, but yeah, Nate, you pretty much brought it up. Dan Campbell, his aggressiveness is going to eventually bite the Lions in the ass. I will say this is where I don't like the new onside kick rule, because if it was a sneak onside kick, maybe it makes more sense, but you got to announce it, and it's 2%. It's dumb. I hate that. That is soft. Be ready. Have your players ready on kickoff team. I just don't get that we have to announce it. Besides the point, but that hurts the Detroit Lions. Their defense is just so banged up. 29 starters over the course of the season on the defense side of the ball. So I've got them at number 4. Number 5, my third straight NFC North team. Give me the Green Bay Packers. And Josh Jacobs, man, holy shit. He's just absolutely been dominant. Pretty much every back on a new team is, but he is especially, he's almost what makes that offense go.
Yeah.
I think Jordan Love is along for the ride sometimes, and I think that's A-okay because Josh Jacobs is going to carry that offense. And then their defense turns the ball over at a high rate, and they create pressure. So I like the Green Bay Packers at number 5. Number 6, I'm going to keep him in my power rankings, and it hurts my height. The Kansas City Chiefs, and it's only because of that injury. It's because of the Mahomes injury. Because Carson Wentz is going to be the quarterback, I think, for the next 2 games. Sorry, Christmas Day watchers, you're getting Carson Wentz. How funny would it be if this injury is a little bit worse and Carson Wentz comes in and wins a fucking Super Bowl?
That would be crazy.
Against the
Eagles.
Eagles.
Nick Foles, Mahomes.
And he does it to the Eagles. That'd make me grin because I want Carson Wentz to get a...
That would be something.
Script writers would have went on.
Yeah, they would have. But Mahomes will be back eventually, and I'll jump right back up in my power rankings. But hey, Carson Wentz went 2-2. But give me the Kansas City Chiefs at number 6. So Bills, Eagles, Vikings, Lions, Packers, Chiefs.
Okay. Sage.
All right. I'll go 1 to 6 as well. Starting off with the Philadelphia Eagles at number 1. Obviously, they had the most dominant win of the weekend against a very quality team in the Pittsburgh Steelers. They had, obviously, their squabbles over the week, and they said, is that what you wanted to see? Huh?
Yeah.
You know, Jalen Hurts said it just like that, and that is what we wanted to see. Thank you for showing us that you can do that. Yeah. We appreciate it. The only thing that kind of worries me about the Eagles is, for some reason, Nick Sirianni just wants to fight all of his players.
I know, and coaches, apparently.
And coaches, and I don't know what his deal is. I really still think that, like, Nick Sirianni is just there for the ride.
Yeah.
And hopefully they can get a new head coach soon, but if he goes to the fucking Super Bowl, how are you going to fire him? two Super Bowl appearances and you fire him? I don't know. Number 2, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills. Obviously, Buffalo just took down most of our number 1 teams in the NFL over the past few weeks. They did that with a terrible defense. I mean, Detroit still put up 40 on them, which is the second time in 2 weeks that they've let up 40 because they just did it against the Rams as well, where the Rams put up 42. So that's really, really concerning. Obviously, if you have Josh Allen putting on that Superman cape, you can do anything, but what happens when you can't?
Right.
You know? Right. So that's obviously coming up against quality opponents. Like, how many quality opponents can you play in a row and continue to put on that cape?
Yeah.
We will see. That is something we will definitely find out. Number 3, I have the Minnesota Vikings, who I think right now is the most balanced team in the NFL. I think they are absolutely stacked on offense. I don't even have to go down the list of their weapons, but their defense has been a stalwart throughout the entire year with Brian Flores leading the charge with his scheme. I love everything they're doing. They're going to make a very, very hard offseason choice with how Sam Darnold's been playing, but it's hard to think that, like, last year, we were thinking this was going to be a rebuilding year for them, and this year, I legitimately think they are a few pieces away from taking it all. And this year even could go all the way just because of, again, how balanced they are. Yeah. Number 4, I got the Detroit Lions. Those injuries are killers.
Yeah, they are. Man.
I mean, they might get Aiden Hutchinson back if they make it to, like, the 3rd round of the playoffs.
Game, right?
But even then, like, he can't fix everything, you know? It's so scary, and Dan Campbell's not making any excuses. He's saying, hey, we just got to be better. Sometimes just take the excuse, you know? Your players got leaked, and he didn't take the excuse. All your players got hurt, you're not taking the excuse. Just take it, dude. Yeah. Sometimes you need it, because when you have that many starters go down.
How are you supposed to play?
Yeah. Almost to the point where they fielded 3 entire units by themselves.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
26 is crazy.
The fact that you're still competitive is still impressive.
Yeah.
So I mean, good luck to him, but I feel like this fairy tale ending might be just that, ending soon.
I can see it.
And then number 5, I do have yours truly, the Baltimore Ravens, making another appearance.
Sure.
Lamar Jackson put on his Superman cape, decided to throw for 290 yards, 5 touchdowns, 4 incompletions.
More touchdowns compared to incompletions.
It's always good.
That's only the 6th time he's done that in NFL history. He's only 5 away from.
Only 6? Wow.
He's 2nd in NFL history. You know, as opposed to Drew Brees and Tom Brady, who have 11 over their whole careers. Love that man to death. He's also going to lose the MVP race, having 117 QBR, which is number
insane.
4 in NFL history.
Yeah. Passer rating, but yeah.
Passer rating. Yeah, absolutely wild. And then your number 6 team is the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay Packers, like you said, Josh Jacobs is just keeping that offense rolling. They don't have any number 1 receivers. I'm convinced, finally, they don't have it. They don't need it.
Yeah.
They just need players to get open at the right times. That defense is clicking, and as long as they keep rolling with Matt LaFleur's scheme, they're going to keep winning games.
Yeah. Agreed.
They could have 11 wins and be 2 games behind first in their division.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
insane.
That whole division,
Well,
like, I
top
feel
3
bad
teams.
for
The
this.
top 3 teams are loaded.
Insane.
Yeah, loaded.
There's only 3 teams in that division.
Yeah.
Only 3 we're talking about. No, I'm kidding.
I mean,
Power rankings, I'm going to start at the top and go down. Team I had at number 2 last week, and my number 1 team lost. So,
Easy bump up.
yeah, they bump up. Minnesota Vikings. And I was kind of overreacting last week when I put them up there just off the dominant performance, but they looked dominant last night as well. Talking about Brian Flores in the scheme, something I love that he does is an obvious passing downs. Screw the D tackles. We're going to bring out 5 edge rushers and just let them all go one-on-one. And how do you stop that?
Good luck.
How do you stop that? And Dallas Turner doing like a slide cancel, coming around the edge and getting the sack was crazy. Minnesota Vikings number 1 on my power rankings. Number 2, I am going to put the Kansas City Chiefs here, and I know the injury concern of Patrick Mahomes. I understand playing Jameis Winston this past weekend, but finally that defense showed up.
Yeah, about
we
time.
needed to see that performance. We needed to see some turnovers. Trent McDuffie, first pick of the year, I think I saw.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Might have ended Winston's time in Cleveland.
Might have been, yeah, that magic might have ran out.
Might be out.
So I am going to put the Chiefs here. Now, that's after 13 weeks or 14 weeks.
15 weeks.
15 weeks.
16 weeks.
Damn, this season is going. This season's going too fast. Now, next week with Carson Wentz coming in, depending how they look, might be some shakeup there.
Yeah.
Number 3, I am going to put those Buffalo Bills up here. I know everyone's like, where's Philly? Where's Philly? But these teams ahead of them, I do think push comes to shove, could beat them in a 1-game neutral field. I am putting Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen, all the love and respect. No one circles those wagons. No one loves Josh Allen more than I do.
Ugh, gross.
I'm kidding. I'm sure there are people that do.
Yeah.
I don't know. Number 4, I am going to put those Philly Eagles here in this spot. They're looking dominant. Big win against in-state rival Pittsburgh, who had looked really dominant this time, coming into this time of the year. Philly's just rolling. They're my number 1 pick in the NFC coming in. Jalen Hurts, my MVP pick. Yikes. But big performance this week.
Yes.
I like the press conference. This is what y'all wanted to see.
You want to see this, right?
Yes. That's exactly what we wanted to see.
Thank you, Jalen.
Number 5, with the loss, I am going to put Detroit here at number 5. I do still have concerns defensively, but that offense continues to roll. Obviously, David Montgomery now done for
Yeah.
at least a regular season. I don't know if he's fully done or not. I didn't see
Done
that.
for season is what I saw. Also, did you see where he ended yardage-wise?
Yeah,
His over-under.
half.
Brutal. The over-under for the season was 775.5, and he ended at 775. That is the books. How do they do it? How do they do it?
Yeah, you're telling me 3 games left, he needs 1 yard. I'm like, that. You might as well just cash
Just go
that.
and give me my
Just
money.
go ahead and give me that money.
And
I'm
he's,
spending the money.
yeah, I've already spent my money.
Yeah.
I'd be looking back. I'd be like, he gained an extra yard right there.
Guys,
Yeah.
come on.
We need a stat correction.
It's that correction. You got it.
And then honorable mention this week, I'm putting those Indiana Hoosiers. They're going into
Oh
South
my
Bend,
God.
and they're going to rain hellfire on Touchdown Jesus and those golden domes of the Notre Dame Fighting Frauds this week. But in all seriousness, give me the Green Bay Packers as my honorable mention team. They're rolling along. Pittsburgh, with kind of the ugly loss and how they looked against Philly, I just dropped them out. Green Bay went on the road in Seattle, who is a pumpkin, but they just dominated.
Pumpkin for 3 years.
They've been a pumpkin for a minute, but just dominated in Seattle. So that's my top 6.
All right, I like it. Minnesota, Chiefs, Bills, Eagles, Lions, Hoosiers, Packers. We let Colin have a 7th one this week.
Packers.
Packers, then Hoosiers.
Hoosiers aren't even on the list.
No, Hoosiers are on the list. I wrote them down.
Pro Football League.
I wrote them down. They're going on the graphic. All right. You got the Steelers' disrespect in this room is very real at the moment. I've been disrespecting them all year. They did just get beat up by what? You got them written somewhere?
I mean, just tell me, though, right now, if these
Yeah.
two teams played, are you taking the Steelers or the Chiefs? I guess right now.
Right now, I'm taking the Steelers.
With Patrick Mahomes, are you taking the Steelers?
Probably the
I'd still
Chiefs.
take the Chiefs.
With Carson Wentz. I think they play each other on Christmas. That's the
now,
Christmas
are you
taking. I guess we'll see.
Right now, are you taking the Lions or the Steelers? Right now.
Lions. All
Are you
right.
taking the Bills or the Steelers right now? Neutral field for all these.
Bills.
Are you taking the Eagles or the Steelers right
Eagles.
now? Are you taking the Packers or the Steelers right now?
See, I don't know. That one's close for me. Are you taking the Vikings? I think the Vikings probably are my line, honestly, which is crazy because they're your
Okay,
number one
well,
team. But the Vikings might be my line.
For the Pittsburgh Steelers is they played a good defense, really got signing.
Without George Pickens, though, if he comes back, then that changes their offense.
Pickens is not a good receiver.
He's been their number one.
He has been targeted.
Someone's got to be.
Yeah, but then he's the only one with any size. Then you look at the rest of their receiver room; they're all 5'11" and under.
So my only thing is
Now you have no size to
the
do
Ravens'
that.
defense isn't particularly great. No
Right.
touchdowns in that game. They were able to sneak a victory. But it's like now they play a good defense and also we need to see a big performance here from the Steelers offense.
Yeah,
They only
Steelers.
had 2 possessions that entire second half.
Yeah, they didn't touch the ball.
They could not stop.
No.
the Eagles.
And I guess the TJ Watt injury is big
Yeah,
too.
that's
When we
true.
find out more about TJ Watt, if he's done for the season, then you can just drop down to number 32.
Yeah.
And I'm done with them. Then they're
In
dead.
this respect, it's like these are just 6 teams.
Yeah, there's 6 teams that you could argue for
Not
sure.
disrespecting them.
Nah, this is disrespecting them.
They could be 7 or 8 on that list.
Yeah.
No, they're probably
Baltimore
7.
here.
Yeah, no.
They're probably 7 or 8.
We'll
Baltimore.
We'll find out.
We'll find out this week.